All right. So the second conversation I'm lucky enough to have with Uŋpa Nuŋpa. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Uŋpa Nuŋpa.
Uŋpa Nuŋpa. Okay. Maybe after 100 times I'll get this right.
Maybe after 100 times I'll tell you how to say it right.
So in no particular order, I just have a bunch of random bullet point ideas for discussion. So let's get through these. I'd like to know more about the Army Corps of Engineers and their damming projects and how they've destroyed the land around here.
Okay. Well, after World War II, the nation had an agenda of becoming what it is today. And to develop the Great Plains and Upper Missouri region, the Army Corps of Engineers developed what was called the Pick-Sloan Plan. And the Pick-Sloan Plan put forth 5 dams in the Upper Missouri, creating water basins, also serving the purpose of hydroelectric power for the entire region, and drinking water as well. And one thing you've heard throughout this is how there are 17 to 18 million people who rely on this river for their drinking water. And so they proposed the idea, I think it was in 1947, and Congress passed it, and they went about starting construction on the dams in the 1950s. These dams, as originally proposed, would have inundated the cities of Bismarck in North Dakota, Mobridge in South Dakota. Once these communities learned of the inundation, they lobbied hard and got the elevation levels changed so that Bismarck in North Dakota was spared and Mobridge in South Dakota was spared. But on Cheyenne River, where I am from, our agency village, something that we call today the old agency, was completely destroyed. And the old agency was, for lack of a better term, the capital of our reservation. Hello. It was the seat of government power. Entrada!
I'm pretty sure the audio on that would be okay. I think you were emoting louder than the motorcycle that was making me want to eat my own face, but okay. So how did the flooding affect your tribe, like the people? Can you elaborate? Like, what kind of an impact did it have?
Well, I can tell you, I'll start answering that by the impact it had on me. The birthplace of my mother is under 100 feet of water. And where she grew up and where she played and went to school, and all her childhood memories are just that now, memories. That's all they could ever be again. When they did the flood, and I told you this earlier, when we were driving down by the river there was a editorial cartoon that came out, and it shows a older Lakota man and woman standing on top of a house, and the floodwaters are at the roof, and there's a caption that says "Oahe Dam," and you can tell it's downstream from where these people are standing, and the woman's in tears and the man's glum-faced, and the caption says "The Last Stand of the Cheyenne River Sioux." And that editorial cartoon was framed in a little 5x7 frame, and it hung in our cultural center in Eagle Butte, where we have a lot of our tribal art treasures, and there's a little gift shop there. But that photo hung there for years, and it's gone now. I don't know what happened to it, but that's what it did. My mother's generation, those that are still alive, when they talk about the old agency, a lot of them choke up. A lot of them can't talk about it for long. When they began building the Oahe Dam, which is just not far from Fort Pierre area, they began negotiating with the tribe for equitable settlement, a just settlement, as they were already building the dam, as the floodwaters were starting to rise. That's when they started negotiating with us. So our tribe and the other tribes, like 3 affiliated further up the river in North Dakota and Standing Rock here, we went into these negotiations with a loaded gun to our heads.
One of them waters that kind of hurt my leg a little.
We took, and it wasn't just. And finally, in 1998, Congress passed what they called the Just Equitable Taking Act. And it was called
Just the name of that sounds so
Sure. Where
like it's almost a joke. The Just Equitable Taking Act.
yeah, it was compensation for what they took, and it created a $290 million trust fund for our tribe. But Mike, let's say I walk up to you and you're just sitting there being all innocent and everything, and I blast you. And then after I blast you, I admit it was wrong that I did that, and that I owe you something for doing that to you.
Right. Like a restorative justice kind of concept.
Exactly, and I admit freely I did this wrong and you are due compensation, but